we're gonna turn the audience on waiting for our. Come on.
Which way, which side we sit?
Anywhere you like.
Anywhere?
So not not next to the keyboard, but any place that's.
Okay, let's see over here. I think.
And Marcus is in meetings. She's the zoning administrator. Wherever you like. So I'll say it, I think if I shared it with you, I'll say it officially in the hearing, but we did receive a letter of support of the project. So,
okay.
yeah, so all good, yeah.
That's great.
Cheers.
Buenos días, Juanita.
Very
Buenos
short
días.
today.
Good morning, how's it going?
Good, Alan.
Julio, nice to meet you.
Okay,
Good friend
with
of
different
Orlando's.
chair.
Maybe that one.
What was,
Switch it out.
yeah. One of these chairs, yeah, we could use new chairs, not a
Did
priority,
it drop all the way down?
but
My chair.
it dropped all the way down the back as well as, yeah. I'm just gonna pop in and
Oh, David.
you can take that. If you want. The one you got there, we don't have to do too many musical chairs. Unless you want the short one.
No, it's okay. Normally
Yeah,
I
I'm just gonna check in.
drop my chair down.
Sorry, no problem.
Hello, good morning.
It's Margaret and I have a very weird sounding voice. I apologize. Very nice. to meet you.
It's very nice meeting you. Yes.
Okay. Are we,
We're just on and recording. But we haven't been putting the video on. But I wasn't sure which, I guess. The microphone. Oh, and I hid the participants box by accident. But we.
so I'm going to call, this is sort of official, it's not seriously official, but for the sake of it. Welcome to the zoning administrator hearing of July 24th, 2024. My name is Margaret Kavanaugh Lynch. I am the planning manager and for the sake of this meeting, the zoning administrator.
Yes, Renee Nickenick, project planner, here today to present on the project and recommend, make a recommendation to the administrator.
And I'm Julio Perez, planning tech, and I'll be here to assist with any interpretation.
Alan McIsaac, former owner of Classic Billiards for 25 years on 4th Street, here to help Orlando with any questions to clarify anything for him that I could assist him with.
Thank you.
Rose Giusti, Orlando's daughter.
Welcome in.
Orlando Perez and the owner of the Arcade Zone.
Excellent, thank you, everybody. And today's subject of our hearing is a request for a use permit to operate an all ages establishment for a pay-to-play arcade games and pool tables at 75 Bellum Boulevard. Renee, would you give us a brief overview of the project?
Yes, so this is a request to operate a new establishment called Arcade Zone. Due to the inclusion of the arcade games as well as the pool tables, it qualified under both pool hall establishment and also an arcade per our code and required conditional use permit, which has been downgraded to be reviewed by the zoning administrator. The project proposes to have play-to-play games, no alcohol to be served, and limited attendance by youth as much as possible during school hours. The proposed operations are 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., 7 days a week. The project complies with all aspects of the zoning ordinance, including the performance standards for arcades, including the police department review who have previously reviewed the project, provided comments to increase security measures, and abiding with those will be a condition of approval of the business license that it will be required prior to issuance of a village's license. But with that, the project would comply with all applicable zoning ordinance and general plan policies. The conditions of approval are recommended are standard to most use permits, that the use with these conditions must comply with all applicable city laws and regulations, including should there be any, noise disturbance, et cetera, that should come forward, all those will apply. I mentioned the police report, so the surveillance and lighting aspects noted, will just be, the condition included here today is that police department approval will be required to issue for issuance of a building permit. And I can answer any questions about that process. And the staff I recommend approval to the zoning administrator, conditional approval, zoning administrator with this new business. Or use permit, it's a use permit.
Want to pause right here, so, my voice. Is there anything? I know that we're both here helping, and I know English is the second language, I want to make very sure that everybody understands everything that Renee just said. Is there any questions or any clarification that would be helpful?
Probably the process would be the police have already reviewed it, right? And they've signed off on the okay.
No, so they didn't sign off. The police department reviewed the application and they made recommendations for additional security measures.
Okay,
They've requested that those recommendations be addressed. They're not explicit, so they're not asking for very specific items, but they're asking for lighting to be increased at the exterior and for there to be just a more substantial plan for security at the interior. Some recommendations were additional mirrors just to make sure that all corners can be visible by the proprietor at any time. They requested to re-review that plan. So prior to issuance of a business license, that plan will need to be submitted and we will reroute that to the police department for their sign off.
do you have a list of that?
So yeah, I can reshare. I didn't print it here today, but I can reshare the memo.
Okay, so Orlando,
Yeah, which you, yeah,
Orlando could
you
be-
have, yeah, that was done prior to the originally scheduled meeting. So they gave a list of recommendations and then possible future improvements, but they are not requiring any specific item, just that. I think that what they want to see is that
Basics.
it's being addressed more than, it's just due to the nature of the business and being open later than the other businesses at the site. They just want to make sure that there's additional measures for security to keep the business safe as well.
yeah,
That was the focus of the report.
makes sense.
So when that gets completed, you call them, they come back and then they sign off on it.
Yeah, so once you can submit that directly to me, or you can upload it onto the portal. I will reroute that to the police department for their review. And then once we hear back from them, we'll let you know, right?
It sounds like one way to do this would be to submit a revised floor plan with like mirrors, like where are the mirrors going? And if they're asking for additional lighting, that's gonna take a electrical permit, right? So a revised site plan saying, here's what you had for lighting now, and we're gonna add more lights and, here's the spec for that light and here's where it's going, not detailed, not like any version of the plan will work, that'll get you a electrical permit, so it doesn't have to be I don't need an engineer or a designer to just, anybody who can pull electrical permit can add where the lights are going, and these are the specification sheets from, like, I would go to Home Depot, right, or any other local hardware store, if you want to support a local hardware store, and be like, here's the spec sheet for that light, that's the light we're putting up. You would get that information back to Renee. Renee will run it by the police department and be like, does this meet your concerns? And they'll be either, right, I want another light. We'll turn around immediately and be like, can you add one more? Condition would be, just show us on that plan where you're adding that third light. If I'm making that up. They might be like, yay, we're done, right? But we need it in writing. So floor plan, site plan, showing that you're responding to the police department's comments. Get it to Renee, she'll get it to it's just they'll respond faster because they'll see it, oh, it's the planner, she needs to review this, right? We'll get it back to you, and once they say yes, we can then approve. That would probably be a building permit for they have to get the electrical stuff, but we could expedite that, maybe ask to make sure building knows that this is part of a planning entitlement and they've been going around with it.
Yeah,
And we could approve a business license.
yes.
So that seems like maybe the concrete steps we would follow to make sure you We have the,
Because right now they have the lights, they have lights over there right now,
yeah,
because their business is all around, and next to the horse store, and next to a restaurant over there, a full restaurant. So it's pretty much lights, but maybe I take a picture tonight,
so
you guys.
the police department is aware
Mhm.
of the current lights
Okay,
and they want more.
okay,
On the outside, it sounds like, and again, to that, we go over the memo. With your team, you have an awesome team,
mhm,
I. They would not have said additional lighting is needed if they hadn't already
mhm,
been very familiar with the project.
okay.
So if we do turn around to them and be like, here's what's here, did you want more lighting? It's gonna take you more time,
Oh, okay,
so I wanna get you, I know you've been here a bit, we really wanna get you open.
thank you, yeah,
So, yeah. So that's my concern.
okay,
And I recommend to Orlando that, which would help with the communication for the police too, is he installs the indoor camera recorded video system
Mhm.
in the location. It basically covers everything. They're not that expensive anymore for something that's worth the security.
oh, no, that,
For you
we're
and
definitely
the-
doing that inside.
Yeah, I would let them, police know that you're gonna do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great tool. So,
Yeah.
And it's not that, pricey, but it's
Yeah.
something that they'll want to know.
And my understanding of the police review was that they just want, because the business will be open later than the other businesses at the site. And that the nature is a little bit different than the existing, just pretty standard commercial spaces. They want to see that a plan is in place for the security, so they just need to see that explicitly. To get ahead of any, so that's essentially what it is. The memo itself is not extremely intensive. It is mostly items that you can pick up at a local store. And yeah, so I'm happy to resend that.
And
please.
the development team has the copies of the council, they have
Yes,
input,
yes,
okay,
yes,
all right.
yes.
For the sake of this meeting, is there anything besides the police department that would need to be done prior to the issuance of the business license?
Prior to the issuance of the business license, no.
Okay.
It would just be the appeal period.
Great, okay.
Day.
So your to-do list is really that memo by the police, everything else is all set. Do you have any other questions about how hours of operation, or is there anything else that you're like, what are they talking about? Anything?
No, yo pienso que estamos bien.
Yo creo que lo que quieren son los planes nuevos que enseñan que tienen más luces de lo que tienen ahorita y seguridad. Ya enseñándoles eso, yo creo que todo está bien. Y ya de ahí manda ese mensaje a René y nosotros nos encargamos de mandar los planes a la policía. Ellos dicen todo está bien y ya de ahí pues ya todo puede empezar y
Okay. So basically, we just need to add those lights.
Add some lights, add some
Yeah.
mirrors, and the security system would probably make them super happy too.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think that would really get their attention in a positive way.
Okay,
Is that accurate? Am I glossing over? Is there anything else you think the police are looking for?
No, that was I was just looking at, the condition that I wrote, that's my understanding.
Okay.
It wasn't intensive, they just want to address those potential issues. They have had crime at that site, just as a general commercial property. But they did also note in their report that not having a vacant storefront is very positive for the site. So my read of the report is that they are not unsupportive of the business, they just need to see those items in place. Particularly should any issues rise up, but that is it. Everything else is just standard. I did want to share, that we did, prior to the previous meeting that was scheduled, we did receive a letter of support of a project of a neighboring
Business?
representative. It's a representative of Golden Gate Realty, so I don't.
Okay.
That is so.
Are they
So we
located
did
there?
raise.
Are they located there?
I don't know. I don't think they're a neighbor of the site. I think they were just, may have received, one of the notices and just
That's
wanted
good.
to express support of a business like this that is a gathering place for, that would really probably serve several neighborhoods in the city, which you'll, it's in the findings of the report, so.
Did we receive a concern from a neighbor regarding anything to do with this project? They might be blurring in my head, but I'm just,
In a very early stages of the project, the first, we have several notices have gone out. When the first
Yeah.
one went out, the owners of the Raw store just requested follow-up information. They just wanted to see the plans, but I have not heard anything from that. So no
Great.
formal complaint or concern. It was just, they just didn't know where to find the plans online. So I sent them that link and nothing since then.
that's very common. Somebody just wants to know more about it and then they are happy. I mean, if I were Ross, I'd be like, great, the parents could drop the kids over here. Right?
Not during school hours.
That's right, not during school hours. Okay. Do you have any additional questions about what we need to do?
No, my question is, I just wanna open my business so I can.
Yes,
Get back my money I investing.
yes,
So, I'm very happy with this meeting because I've been waiting for a long time.
yes, sir.
For this meeting, and I'm very happy about it. And I wanna say thank you to Renee and thank you to everybody.
Thank you for your
Appreciate it.
patience. Yeah, this took the scenic route for sure, and that's not
Yes.
good. Is there any possibility there's public out there?
Oh,
that we
if you scroll down, there should be, we can see if anybody's here. It looks like there is one participant, which is me. So nope.
Great, okay. So, as zoning administrator, I'm hereby closing the public hearing and taking the action to approve this project as conditioned in the staff report. Congratulations, you have your use permit. There is a 5
Working day.
5 working day, any interested party can appeal my decision in writing with a fee. We will tell you immediately, based on the fact that this has been very well noticed. And we have no one out there being anxious. I would be surprised to receive an appeal. So 5 days. And meeting the police department's concerns. And we can get you open.
Thank you very much.
And,
Thank you.
and just to, just to note that because the meeting was downgraded from planning commission, you will be receiving a significant refund on
Yes,
your initial fee. So that is, it's pretty significant. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the number that I think I sent it to you in email
Mhm.
previously. So that is soon coming, that you'll be able to get that refund on that initial.
so we will process that. It runs through our finance department, but at least we can do after all this time is to get you some money back on the planning commission actions are more expensive. It's a bigger deal.
Yes.
So,
So Linda, you're clear that the process for the use permit is going forward, but the business license needs to come after the
Revised board.
all of the
Yeah,
add-on for the police securities.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna do that.
So
We're
that-
gonna approach that as soon as possible.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you get on that immediately and then, you're on your way.
yeah,
And you can put in your application for the business license and they know that we can just communicate internally that we're just waiting for that last item. So I don't know if there's any other logistics. You
Okay,
can speak that a little bit more, but just for,
so he
efficiency's
he can
sake of
start that-
moving
you can
forward.
apply.
can
Yeah, so
start that
yes.
process with you today? Is that
I think there
possible?
might already be
online.
in the business.
Oh, it is.
license. I
Maybe
might have
that's
already
how-
seen,
I think
yeah,
maybe it's.
I
how it
might have
came
already
out,
seen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
people
So you
out of
already
the business
applied.
license, ¿verdad?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's in the system. I've seen it.
Great.
That's great. So we'll
Yeah.
just continue to keep, obviously, so
Yeah.
you work on business licenses, but we'll just keep that updated. To get that done as soon as possible.
Ya, solo más usted va a mandar esos planes revisados y ya de ahí va a pasar 5 días. Si ninguna persona tiene complaint en esos 5 días, ya, pues, ojalá si todo va bien,
Okay,
podemos empezar.
gracias, Julio.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
You're welcome.
Very excited to have your business in that location. I think it's gonna be a great addition. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Renee, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, and then I just thought of this right now. So your sign, if you're doing any sort of signage, you can put your application in for that.
Yes.
As well.
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
What
do you
hap-
have my email?
I don't know, but I
Okay.
will respond to the last email I had that I think had more
will
than one
fast
email
forward
on it.
it.
If not, yeah.
Okay,
I'll
okay.
that to email. Yeah, so
A
I'll.
question, what happened when I say I close at 11, but I say a lot of people, they want to stay another half hour or something, do they allow to do that? or
No, you'll have to close.
I have to
at
close at
11, yeah.
11?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it is the city, I mean, there is, if you were ever to want to extend your hours, you'd have to reapply to amend the use permit. But the review and the findings were based a lot on that, closing, later. Some of the police in their report did incorrectly note that they close at 12:30, that you were, proposed to close at 12:30. That was part of their comments. So, should you want to amend that in the future, it's definitely something that's available to apply for.
Oh,
But for now, they would have to close at 11.
okay.
I would recommend you get open and have a great track record.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then the police department
Exactly.
will be calmer. And then you might be able to get that use permit.
That's what we did at Classic downtown.
Yeah,
We, same history, and then after representation of the business, and we applied for extension.
oh, okay,
But they just want to know everything's okay.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
yeah, the minute they know you and love you, that would probably be a much easier discussion.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you very
sure.
much. Yeah,
Thank you all.
Take
Really
care.
appreciate it.
and do you want my card? If you
Oh,
wanna
yeah.
email
Yeah.
me, I'll make grab you one of my
Okay.
cards, yeah,
I'll meet you right out here.
yeah,
Thank you both very much.
thank you so much, I'm so sorry, but.
No, that was fun.
Okay, I can shut that all down too, if you want me to.
I'll see if I can muck through here.